A grumpy Scot with a pint in hand, ripping through films like a one-man band. Snarky cinema where the burns are hot, honest reviews you'll never forgot. Oh hey oh, aye, let the truth be told. No sugar here, it's biting and bold. With smirk and a scowl and a hearty laugh, the grumpy Scot is here to riff your craft. Sequels gone wrong, he'll tear them apart all video long. But if it's a gem, he'll tip his hat. Rare moments when praise comes from this cat. From cringe remakes to sequels gone wrong, he'll tear them apart all video long. But if it's a gem, he'll tip his hat. Rare moments when praise comes from this cat. Snark so sharp, it'll cut through steel. Honesty that you can taste and feel. No fluff, no fuss, it's the Scottish creed. For brutal truth, the world does plead. Oh hey oh, aye, let the truth be told. No sugar here, it's biting and bold. With a smirk and a scowl and a hearty laugh, the grumpy Scot is here to riff your craft. So grab your popcorn and duck for cover. It's cinema chats with a twist to discover. Snarky Scot with reviews that sting, a brutally honest movie rating king.
It's Friday night and we're all in!
Welcome to my party, we're just getting started. A life is a dream or a nightmare scarring. Hand me a drink cause I think I'm going all in. Get me a shrink who can catch me when I'm falling. Cover up my scars, flip the handlebars. Crashing in my car, wake up in a bar. I'll be a superstar, just on my avatar. This world is so bizarre, empty out the reservoir. Yeah, I'm taking 6 shots, yeah, straight to the face. And I wanna get lost, I'm sick of this place. Don't know how to stop when I'm feeling this way. So I'm taking 6 shots till I'm feeling okay. I think I'm going crazy, don't think I'll get home safe. So I'm taking 6 shots all straight to the face. I'm taking 6 shots, are you coming with me? I'm taking 6 shots, yeah, straight to the face. And I wanna get lost, I'm sick of this place. Don't know how to stop when I'm feeling this way. So I'm taking 6 shots till I'm feeling okay. I think I'm going crazy, don't think I'll get home safe. So I'm taking 6 shots all straight to the face. I'm taking 6 shots, are you coming with me? Sometimes you need to let loose, grab juice, get goose, tattoos, taboos, get screwed. Loosen up, buttercup, all those hate comments will never make you feel enough. We're all adequate graduates, heart full of calluses, but we know calculus. Damn, ain't that fabulous? Can't wait to apply all those mathematicus. But we can't get a job that pays us enough. I'm about to pop off. Fuck you, you're lost. We all know that we never really want a boss. So I'ma do what I want to, something I can't undo. Yeah, I'ma do what I want to, something I can't undo. I'm taking 6 shots, yeah, straight to the face. And I wanna get lost, I'm sick of this place. Don't know how to stop when I'm feeling this way. So I'm taking 6 shots till I'm feeling okay. I think I'm going crazy, don't think I'll get home safe. So I'm taking 6 shots all straight to the face. I'm taking 6 shots, are you coming with me? I'm taking 6 shots, yeah, straight to the face. And I wanna get lost, I'm sick of this place. Don't know how to stop when I'm feeling this way. So I'm taking 6 shots till I'm feeling okay. I think I'm going crazy, don't think I'll get home safe. So I'm taking 6 shots all straight to the face. I'm taking 6 shots, are you coming with me?
Hey, it's Friday night, and it's all in. There we go.
You sound so much more energetic than I feel.
It's not well. It's not well. But we'll drag him through.
I've had a dental abscess most of the week.
Yeah.
Since about Wednesday. So you're lucky to have me this evening. But I can't live without my weekly dose of catharsis.
Well, that's good to hear. That's good to hear. So, good evening, Troll Room, Dreadeye, and Julie, pardon me, Brit Mate, Beats and Types, Ray, Yorkshire Lad, even on the Yorkshire Lad, Paul Armstrong, hello, Paul. Yeah, Ed wasn't well yesterday, so we didn't have a rabbit hole, and Ed won't be here next week. So, we probably won't.
No, for the next week, I've got a friend coming over.
Yeah. So, Ed won't be here next week. So I think I'll probably have some kind of rabbit hole. Okay, so I'll have something teed up for that, and we'll have a guest star for Friday. I've got that teed up as well. Emma, how you doing? Good to see you. Right. Well, we're still here. We're still here, so that's a bonus, isn't it? Did anyone watch the parade?
I was half expecting Zelensky to do something beastly, but I mean, even if he had done they sent 500 drones at Moscow a couple of days ago, and every single one of them was taken out by the Russian air defense system. So I don't think they're messing around. But also, I've heard that all sorts of leaders like Xi Jinping and people were contacted the Ukrainians and just said, "Don't
do it. Don't. I think even Trump said, "Don't do it." You know.
I mean, it's so disrespectful, and also, I mean, the fact of the matter is without the Red Army, World War II would have ended very differently. And to the way that the Europeans are trying to erase the Russian contribution or the Soviet Union's contribution in the way that they are. I mean, 27 million of their people died for our freedom. And for us not to respect that, I just think it's abhorrent.
Just to put that in perspective, people, less than 400,000 UK soldiers died. Less than 400,000. So
I mean, if you look at it, there was millions of Soviet civilians that were killed as well. I mean, it wasn't just, I think they lost something like, I don't know the exact numbers, but it was roughly 10 million civilians and 10 million soldiers,
something like that. Yeah, I think the rest was civilians. But yeah, it was quite horrific times, and people seem to be trying to rewrite history, because I did point out that, you know, why would anyone at this point try and pick a war with someone that used to be our ally, you know, especially around the time of this celebration of the 80th day of victory in Europe. And people seem to be trying to rewrite history, because they say, but Ukraine was our ally too. But, well, it wasn't. Not until the latter stages of 1943, because prior to that, it was firmly aligned with Mr. Austrian Painter's Germany. It really was. So just look it up, people.
That's the same as the Baltics. I mean, you look at places like Finland.
Yeah.
The Finlands were, I mean, the Estonians, all these little dinky European states that are whining about it, they were all on the wrong side.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah, they were. They were, but hey, you know what? We've got through the day, well, so far, and we're still here, so it looks like it's been a great success. I think you had 28 world leaders there or something. People were doing stupid things. Did you see the people that were, you know, posting the picture of the plane's flight plan that FICO had to take, which was nonsense because the plane hadn't even taken off, and people were posting pictures of a completely stupid flight plan. You know, let's face it, all I had to do was fly to Turkey and then into Russia.
Well, they did. The fact is that they did close the airspace to
Yes,
them.
They did deny him airspace, but yeah.
But I mean, it's one of the best trolls was this is actually posted. I think Olga. Hang on.
Oh, he's having a moment. You're still
No,
with us?
it was someone had used AI to replace one of the red square tanks with a washing machine. It was bloody brilliant.
Indeed. Right. Okay. Let's crack on then, shall we? Shall we step into the slides? And if you thought you were on the wrong channel when I started the intro with this Visit Snarky Cinema, that's the sister channel. It's still me, but it's where I'm posting all our movie reviews. And we're still doing the movie stream on a Tuesday with David and Sean. This week's film is Doctor Strangelove. Anyone that wants to come in and discuss it, you watch Doctor Strangelove before Tuesday and hit me up, then you can join in. Good evening, Dave Barnes. What happened? It says chat disconnected. Was that me or you? But anyway, it doesn't matter. It's reconnected now. So yeah, so anyone that wants to join in with the movie reviews, just hit me up and we can see what we can do. Now, moving on after advertising that, and I haven't advertised the Cult of UFO, but that's firing back up again as well. I'm getting ready to do it. Right, okay. We've got the war page, as I call it. This is the wars slide. And let's start with U.S. Navy lost another airplane, didn't they, Ed?
I don't know, carelessness? Did it fall off the deck?
It fell off the aircraft carrier. Yeah, the second one to fall off the aircraft carrier.
Well, I think this one supposedly the pilot wasn't able to land it for some reason and ejected, and a very expensive aircraft ended up in the sea.
Yeah, that's embarrassing. That's embarrassing.
I mean, the US and Israel hit the port of Hodeidah and the international airport in Sana'a, with both of which today I saw a story that Xi Jinping has offered to rebuild them both.
Oh, I'm sure he has. Yeah, he'd be on like Flynn. You know?
Yeah.
We do good deal. Good deal. We build big build. Hi, big.
Yeah.
Quick,
it's
cheap,
not,
very cheap.
Yeah. I mean, it's not stopped the Houthis, though. They've been firing missiles. They've essentially declared, they've told all international airlines to stay the hell away from Israeli airports.
Yeah.
So there's another carrier, I think it's Virgin Atlantic, that I saw today's cancelled flights to Tel Aviv. So, yeah, you can't stop those Houthis. Doesn't matter how much you bomb them. You have to hand it to them, really.
Yeah, it's a cracker. What got me about the May Day parade not the May Day parade, the Victory Day parade in Russia was the amount of troops they had out on display, right? Because remember, it's not like they pulled everyone back in for the parade. These guys are still out there fighting. And yet they were able to flood that place with troops. And this is a scaled down parade, apparently. But it was good evening, Nectaritas. Good to see you. But it was still very impressive and very well done.
And there were foreign military contingents. I remember in the parade in 2010, they had British troops there, American troops there, Ukrainian troops. And knowing the Russians, they probably invited all of these people and they just probably ignored them. But yeah, they had plenty of military equipment, and it doesn't seem that they're short of tanks or anything else.
You know who else was there? Steven Seagal.
Yes, also George Galloway.
Steven Seagal was there. Because Steven Seagal is a Russian citizen since 2016. Did you know that?
Yeah, I think he's friends with Kim Jong-un too. Didn't he train Kim Jong-un's security or something?
Yeah, to fight from a chair. Do you remember that movie where he had the kung fu fight sitting down in the chair? It was just the most ludicrous thing ever. It's just so funny.
So he does. I don't know. I like Steven Seagal, but mainly because he's completely wacky.
Oh, he's wacky. He is.
He seems to get more crazy as he gets older.
Yeah, he's off. He's not. I mean, but yeah, it's funny. And his hair looks like somebody's stapled a carpet to his head. He looks like Zod out of Superman.
just a little bit.
Cheers. I'm on the Thirsty Ferret tonight, Badger's Breweries.
I'm just on a bog standard Waitrose Shiraz. It's actually quite nice.
I hope you have your tipple out there and you're enjoying it as well. Right, so anyway, back to the slides. So the Chinese are now trolling India, apparently, about their expensive Western jets being shot down by Pakistan using Chinese hardware. Oh dear.
This is hilarious.
My new plane got shot down. Goodness gracious me.
But the Chinese have been doing some amazing trolling recently. I think they've been taking lessons from the Russians.
I think they have. Yeah. I mean, the Russian trolling is becoming next gen by this point in time. Whereas I don't know what's happened to NAFO and Ukraine, because they're just their trolling's just very substandard these days, very poor. Anyway,
no, absolutely. I mean, NAFA's always been just. I mean, if you look at a lot of their comments, they're just really ugly, nasty, vile, spiteful, vindictive, violent people.
Yeah, well, they are, and it's just a horrible. It's not even an organization; it's a loose combination of idiots, I would say. But it's just a horrible people. Misguided, think they're doing the right thing, but completely off their trolley, and actually bullying people online, which is, as far as I'm aware, an offence.
No, I mean they've tried to dox me a number of times.
Yeah.
Well, they did dox me a number of times. I don't care. It's like, feel free to come and have a cup of tea.
CIA uncovers Chinese plot to just sit back and enjoy collapse of the United States. Well, China always does tend to play the long game, don't they? And
they do. And Trump is really helping them out just by taking advice from really stupid people. He's got some proper idiots advising him. I mean, he's got some good people in his administration that I have time for, but he's got some serious idiots in there too.
He is going off the rails a bit, I think, Trump. I don't know if he's just lost his way, or he's trying to do it too quickly, or, as you say, he's just listening to the wrong people and believing them. Because it's just,
I think he's listening to the wrong people, but he also doesn't. He doesn't really have any sense of history. He's not particularly knowledgeable about world history. And I'm not saying you have to be an expert in 12th century Russia, but having at least an accurate idea. I mean, what he said about the Americans having won the Second World War, I mean, that was so. If you're trying to establish good relations with the Russians, that's not how you do it.
But Americans actually think this. He's not playing to the Russians there or the world. He's playing to the home team, because that's what Americans think. Americans think they are Team America, world police.
Well, that's why all his efforts are being frustrated, because he's not. Mm-hmm. Thing is that he wanted to come in and bish, bash, bosh, get it done, 24 hours, ceasefire, get the war ended. But he's not. He doesn't understand. He's being advised. He's got two teams effectively seem to be advising him. On the one hand, you've got the neocons like Waltz and Rubio and Kellogg and those sorts of people. On the other hand, you've got the not so neocon people like JD Vance and Witkoff and people like that. And unfortunately, Trump is listening to the wrong bloody people.
Having said that, the non-neocons, I mean, I like JD Vance, but I don't think he's terribly knowledgeable about as well. When it comes to this, Russia,
he seems to have more common sense than any of the others.
Yeah, but this Russia, Slavic, Middle European kind of conflict, America's never done traditionally very well in trying to resolve it, because they just tend to go in with a big stick, smash a few heads, and then run away again. And that's not helping anything, because these people do have to live with each other once, the big bully, the big bad America's been in and sorted things out in its eyes, So I think that's why Russia's not flattened Ukraine, because it realizes it's got to live with the Ukrainians, But yeah,
and also to a large extent, I mean, if you go back before all of this conflict started, the number of Russians that have Ukrainian family, I mean, the Russians in Ukraine are effectively one people. I mean, the difference is you've got the ones in the right and the west of Ukraine who are actually, in a lot of cases, more Hungarian or Romanian or Polish than they are Russian.
yeah.
But certainly in the east of Ukraine, they all identify as Russian. And there's so much intermingling. You have people that were bombing. Zelensky's grandfather was Russian, for crying out loud.
Yeah, yeah. As Nick Terry just points out, and he's quite right, I think if there was a plan, it would be the three superpowers ganging up together to earn from the collapse of Europe. Yeah, it would be. And they're not doing that, you know, because I don't think Russia's interested. Russia doesn't really want the collapse of Europe, and China certainly doesn't, because China needs as many markets as it can get, you know, in order to keep its economy going. I think China might be struggling a little.
I mean, the collapse of, certainly Russia doesn't want this kind of failed entity in terms of Europe on its western border. And as you say, China just wants to do business with everybody, and Europe going down the toilet and imposing all these sanctions and all this screwing around they're doing. Because I mean, the Starmer's just announced the biggest package of sanctions ever. It's like, I'm sorry, dickhead. What of these new sanctions do you think you're going to do that the other 23,000 haven't done?
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, the guy irritates them.
Is it not 27,300? It's something mental anyway. So anyway,
I
let's
don't know the exact number, but it's a ridiculously stupid number. And I mean, how is adding a few thousand more going to do anything? It's just, ugh.
So apparently that thing on the Russian missile there says allegedly says, after me there is only silence.
Yeah, that's what it says in Russian.
Yeah,
I think that is their ICBM nuke.
Right.
I'm not sure if that's the Orezhnik, but
let's crack on, because we've got 40 slides and we're only on 2. Where's my mouse gone?
I mean, this one this is about 5 slides in one. So
yeah, but there's still 40 more slides to go. So apparently Trump. Meanwhile, in America, Trump wants to reopen Alcatraz and use it to put bad guys in, and I don't think that's unfair. I really don't. Why not? Why not? You know, if you're short of prisons, why not?
Well, it wouldn't be very nice. I mean, apart from anything else, it would probably be cheaper to just build a big supermax somewhere rather than.
Yeah, probably.
I mean, you basically have to flatten the whole thing and rebuild it, because surely that place now, I mean, apart from anything else, as a tourist, it's been open to tourists for years.
It has.
But to turn it back into a prison, I mean, you'd have to update it and modernize it. And
it's
probably not habitable.
Pretty basic. And if I remember, I've been there. If I remember correctly, I don't think there was any toilets in the actual cells. So it would be back to slopping out unless you updated it, and that would cost a fortune. Yeah, there's a good point, Ray. Next year it'll be a Trump hotel. It could well be, yeah.
I mean, to be honest, you'd probably be better off turning it into a hotel, but just leave it as a monument and a tourist attraction. And I mean, because why the hell would San Francisco want this prison full of?
And it's
really, I mean, I suppose they've got their own prisons. I mean, there's prisons on land.
Yeah, and you know, we could spend a whole show talking about America and their deportations and prisoners, and sending people to El Salvador and all that. But I don't understand why they want this guy who's an MS-13, gang member back. I don't understand why the Democrats want him back. Why do you want an MS-13 gang member back? Have you seen these guys? You couldn't take them out in public. They're totally coated with tattoos.
Well, it's the same. It's the same reason that they've got so many gangbangers in America, because it might just be because of Trump derangement syndrome, and anything the Trump administration does is bad.
Yeah.
But they also, I mean, if you look at some of these leftist judges, we have them here as well. They have a proper screw loose about letting these people out. I'm with you. I don't understand how they think it benefits society having some tattoo-strewn gangbanger doing anything. I mean, who knows what the hell he's doing? These people should be just locked up purely as to keep them kind of out of polite society, but also as a deterrent.
Yeah. Right. Moving on. Britain's trade deal with India to cost us $200 million a year. There you go. Bombshell Treasury report. After looking at it, it's going to cost us $200 million a year. Well done. Well done, Starmer. Great trade deal, that.
Well, it's the same with this US trade deal. He's basically just selling us out.
Hold on. How much was it? How much was it that he saved by cutting the winter fuel payment for pensioners?
500 million or something?
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy.
It's just...
Yeah, it might be basically now, Britmate. Britmate says it's 0.1% of GBT growth, right? Well, yeah, okay, it might be basically now, but it's basically now in the wrong direction, isn't it? I don't think he saved 15 billion from cutting winter fuel payment. 15 billion.
Well, it's also making it more competitive for certain companies to bring people over from India and employ them cheaper because they have to pay national insurance and stuff for them.
Yeah, but it's I mean, we've got a 4.4% unemployment rate at the moment, which is the same as it was in 1975.
But how is that helping working people?
It's not. That's what I'm saying. We've got a 4.4% unemployment rate. He's going to bring people over from India, and a lot of these guys work in IT sector, right? And he'll just drive IT. Well, he'll drive IT into the ground because these guys can't deliver. They just cannot deliver. They overpromise everything and they never deliver on time. And I can speak to that as a project manager in IT, trying to manage teams of Indians. They are a complete and utter nightmare. And that's not just my experience. Plenty of colleagues would speak up to that as well. You've got to ride them like a donkey all the time. Anyway, let's move on. Keir Starmer, apparently, who framed the Southport riots as far-right inspired, remember, organised and executed. A police inspectorate report says, well, that's entirely untrue because it appears they were spontaneous, there was no organisation, and there was really nothing political behind it at all, from either side, left or right. So you were wrong, Keir.
So I'm guessing the Met has sent some people around to arrest him and put him in prison for spreading disinformation.
I would hope so.
Obviously not.
He should be arrested anyway because, well, we'll come to that. Apparently,
but it's just because we all knew it wasn't. I mean, this is just pointing out what everybody knew. Yeah, but the fact that people like Lucy Connolly they're not going to get released. We've still got people rotting in jail.
Of course they won't.
I mean,
they're prime examples, and you can't let them out now. Or people would just point out that they shouldn't have been locked up, but they shouldn't have been. You're right. It's just crap. And how do governments in what's supposed to be a civilized country get away with it? How? How? Anyway.
Well, they control everything. They control the media. Yeah. The media is not holding them to account, and the courts aren't holding them to account.
So the court's not doing their job, and the media's not doing their job. The only people that are actually calling them out are people like us, and nobody listens to us. But if you listen to us, like, share, and subscribe. Because if you evangelize us, more people will listen to us. And hopefully, one day, somebody will pay us. Anyway, that's not to denigrate the people that already do donate. And you know who you are. And you know I love you deeply. Right. Reeves got our sums wrong on non-doms. So, yeah, Rachel from Complaints / Accounts has got it wrong again. Why are we surprised? So
I'm not.
I'm not. And it's like all these people that scream for a wealth tax. Wealth taxes don't work. They never work. I think there's 3 countries left in Europe that have got wealth taxes, and they still don't work. And I don't know why they're still hanging on to them.
No.
But You know, of the 12 that implemented wealth taxes, the rest of them all ducked them because they were losing money.
That goes the same for all of our policies.
Yeah.
I mean, they should have just said Reeves got her sums wrong, period.
Yeah. Well, she got her some.
New donation from Nick Taradis.
We got a donation from our friend Nick Taradis. Thank you very much, sir. Namaste. So remember, Reeves got her sums wrong on the school fees as well, because you know that's actually going to cost us money now. Putting VAT on private school fees. Well done.
Well, that's what happens when you have economic policy run by economically illiterate morons who can't think things through.
You are right. You are.
Don't listen to advice and just plow on with their policies regardless because they're incapable of admitting that they're wrong. And just have no... I mean, Reeves is going to be fine. She's going to get government pension and...
Yeah, of course she will. Huh?
She'll probably be paid handsomely for spouting bollocks at these speeches where they get paid £150,000 for a speech. And it's like before the election, so I'd like to be Chancellor. I think I'd be a really good Chancellor. Well, you're not. So... I mean,
it's like bloody. I can't believe I'm saying this. Right, bring back quasi-carting.
To be honest,
he wasn't that bad.
He and Truss actually had some what are proving now to would probably be good ideas.
I said at the time it's the closest thing to a Tory budget that we've had in years, and we had it for like, you know, all of 10 seconds, and then it was ripped away from us again. But anyway, let's move on. Catholics frantically Google the new Pope to see if he's Catholic, right? Well, he's made a couple of statements already, and he's actually showing some promise. He said something about gender, saying it was problematical because people are affirming genders that don't exist. So while he might have been a bit woke... While he might have been a bit woke while he was over in Chicago, he seems to be settling into the Italian way of thinking quite quickly.
I mean, I was quite surprised that the choosing happened as quickly as it did. I mean, that might be down to Snoop Dogg. He might have just gotten in there and like put that in the incense or something, and maybe they all just agreed. It could also have something to do with Francis, because he was... the new Pope was made a cardinal by the old Pope. Yeah. So it could be that Francis anointed him as a successor. I mean, we'll have to wait and see because I don't know very much about him. The only thing that I have discovered about him in the last few days is that he did a lot of covering up of noncery. Yeah,
but it's the Catholic Church. Who hasn't? Who hasn't? I mean, really?
Yeah. I mean... It's, well, like I said, we'll have to wait and see. He certainly apparently speaks a lot of languages, which is useful if you're Pope, I suppose.
Probably has. Yeah. So in the 17th century, and this comes to us from Journeying John, actually. He sent me this little post off to the side here. In the 17th century, some Europeans feared coffee. Imagine fearing coffee. Calling it the bitter invention of Satan. In 1615, Venetian clergy sought Pope Clement VIII's judgment, but after tasting it, he approved the drink, dismissing concerns. Well done. That Pope got it right.
Well, apparently tomatoes, when tomatoes first came over from the New World, nobody would touch them because everybody thought that they were toxic.
Well, they are. They're nightshades.
Yeah.
So they are technically toxic.
Well, seagulls don't eat tomato. So they're probably toxic for seagulls.
Dogs don't eat onions.
If you now look at how many tomatoes the world eats in a year.
I know. Right. Hello, Vaughn. Good to see you, mate. Good to see you. Right. Moving on. Shall we move on? Or is there anything else we want to talk about the popes?
Apart from the seagull, the seagull, another slide.
No, I don't have that as a slate. It's not
Well,
something
the
I
seagull
thought.
regurgitating
Yeah.
the seagull regurgitating the rat for its babies on top of the Sistine Chapel. Not on top of the Sistine Chapel, but where the Pope smoke comes out.
Yeah.
So literally, I had at least 30 people send me that picture.
Yeah, it's not a kind of picture I'm going to put up. But
No, of course,
people
no,
might be
not
eating
that.
them.
But anytime seagulls do anything interesting in the world, I'm usually the first person to find out about it.
The seagull whisperer. Right, let's move on. So these Iranians that got arrested for plotting a nefarious act, which was we were originally told was they were plotting to carry out an attack on a mosque. Right, that's what we were told. Okay, so now it appears, and I suggested it might be something to do with VE Day because it was just before that. But it appears they were plotting to attack the Israeli embassy in London. Well, that sounds plausible. I can't for the life of me imagine why Iranians would come over here, obviously illegally because they were housed in asylum hotels, which kind of makes a mockery of the myth that these guys are all doctors and whatever. But anyway, these people are accused of terrorism charges, so one can only call them terrorists. So these people that were going to attack are planning to attack the Israeli embassy came over with that in mind, and it's just shocking. And they came in illegally by the looks of things. So I think we really do need to hammer the borders.
Such a load of. But we need to tighten up the borders. But the whole notion that Iranians were plotting to attack the Israeli embassy in London is just the biggest load of Mossad nonsense I've ever heard in my life. Utter crap. I don't believe it for a second.
So you think it's a false flag?
Oh, absolutely.
So do you think 100%. This is an MI5 setup?
No. I think it's done by the Israeli intelligence services. Maybe in cahoots with MI5, and I mean, they might be in cahoots with our own evil overlords because it's convenient.
To what aim in Britain?
Well, what aim would they have of blowing up bloody Israeli embassy?
Oh, but right, okay, I understand what you're. Well, yeah, okay, but if you have people that are genuinely militant, right, and have a belief in something and want to take action, then they'll look for softer targets than maybe where, like, they're not getting into Israel to do it. You know what I mean? So
Iran has a massive Jewish community. Not a lot of people know that, but there are a lot of Jews who live in Iran. So why would you not start attacking Jews in your own country?
Well, why would you? Maybe you're working on the basis that you don't want to get caught in your own country because Iran's quite an authoritarian regime. But the second point is, what aim in the UK would there be for Mossad to set it up? Because are they trying to get some extra support for Israel in the UK? Because the
they're basically sheep dipping the population into getting them ready for some sort of attack on Iran or just demonizing Iran.
I don't think it's going to work in the UK because we're divided anyway.
But it just makes this whole thing makes no sense to me for the simple reason that the Iranians never responded to the last Israeli attack. They've actually been extremely patient and extremely moderate in their responses. And for them to do something like this is just so provocative. No, I don't believe it for a second. I think anyone who believes it just doesn't know the actors involved. They're just buying into all this propaganda that Iranians are just some inherently bad people. It just makes no sense to me at all.
If it's a setup, right, and the guys in the chat are saying that it's a setup to turn the people against Iran, do you really think it's going to make that much difference what the people of Britain think about Iran? Because, probably I would say 60% of us, 70% of us don't give a shit anyway, right? And aren't going to be bothered because we're all right, Jack. Because this is something that's occurring, 5,000-6,000 miles away. So we really don't care. And the people that do care are the ones that are already invested, and you're not going to change your mind,
Well, that's true, but the thing about these stories is that you also have to figure in the factor that it gives the media stories with which to distract from a bunch of other stuff, like actual genocide, like our country's actual support for actual genocide, things like that. I mean, they put these stories into the media to it just softens people up. It continues this notion that the Iranians are these big bad terrorists, and I just don't believe that they are.
Okay, but why would you then go to the point of making it that they came in illegally? Because that makes the government look bad, because it's the illegal immigrants that came in that were plotting to do the bad thing, you know. So that actually puts the government in a bad light. If this was a setup, it's one of the worst executed I've seen.
It might not. I mean, to be honest, it might not even have come from a local origin. The thing is that you can set a train of events in motion that ends up in a raid like this without the people who are doing the raiding actually knowing why they're doing what they're doing. They've been given orders. They've been told to go to a particular place and do a particular thing. And the motivation for that is coming up from on high. And I don't trust, put it this way, I trust the Iranian government more than I do my own government, frankly, at this point.
Yeah, well, okay. I wouldn't trust either. I really wouldn't.
Well, no, I don't trust any government. But if I had to pick one, if you put a gun to my head and said, pick one that you trust the most, I'd probably say the Iranians. Because the British government is just full of warmongering, duplicitous, evil wankers. Let's move on before I get the channel struck.
Hey, so this picture here, right? The risk, and I'm going to put myself out here, right? This picture here has been put up as some kind of, I think it's been put up as some kind of, look, she's a super mom, right? Okay. But other people are saying, well, you know, why is this meant to be a good thing? And I'm kind of leaning a bit towards why is this meant to be a good thing? Because it seems to me that the White House seems to be turning into a fucking kindergarten, you know? I mean,
well, yeah,
if you're going to be at your work, if you want to work and you want to go to your work, you really shouldn't be taking your kids to work, right? You know? I mean, well, am I being misogynist?
Possibly a little bit old-fashioned. I
mean, yeah, fine.
She's not taking her baby into the press conferences with the journalists.
She's not at her desk. She's not got her full attention on the job at hand. She's dividing her resources here. So what is she only getting half pay at this point in time? That's what I'd be saying. No, I mean, think about it. If somebody's working for you and they come in with their kid, they've got to spend time watching that kid, right? So they can't spend that time that you're paying them for. They can't spend that time on your tasks all the time. So what's she going to take? Half pay?
People should be able to have a work-life balance, and
that work-life balance should be separate. She shouldn't have her fucking family in her work.
She doesn't have a family in her work. She's got a little baby on her.
That's her family.
Well, I come from a broken home with my dad was always away. So if the kid is going to get a little bit more attention from the parents, even though the parent has to work, then I'm in favor of that. And unless it's proven that this is hindering her performance, you never know. Being able to spend a bit more time with her kid may well actually enhance her performance in the sense that she's happier at work. So
kids don't enhance performance.
We start arguing about it.
Have you got any kids?
No.
No, right. Kids do not enhance performance. I can assure you of that. Right, moving on. South Carolina firing squad botched execution. Well, did they really botch it? Because apparently they missed his heart and left him alive longer than was intended. He probably lived for about 80 extra seconds or something. But this guy was a cop killer. I'm not sure who was doing the shooting, but maybe they botched it deliberately.
Yeah, I mean, well, if he's killed, if he's a cop killer and they had policemen in the firing squad, then it's entirely possible that someone put the bullet somewhere that would make sure that he was. It took him longer to die. I mean, that could well have been deliberate. Seems.
Right.
You would think that people on a firing squad would know where the heart is.
I think they do, mate. And they're not that far away, you know. Right, moving on. David Tennant, 54, dealt savage blow as ITV take action over new show amid poor ratings and fan backlash. Well, maybe there wouldn't have been such a big fan backlash if he'd kept his mouth shut all about his LGBT stuff. And apparently,
I think there should be a new rule that actors act, and that all of this campaigning that they do, trying to pretend that they're somehow important because they're in a film and loads of people go and watch them, and they have people sending them fan mail and all this nonsense. Mm-hmm. I mean, and it doesn't matter whether I agree with the actor or not. I don't think that they've got any business spouting off about this stuff.
Same applies to singers and performers of that ilk as well. You know what? You're an entertainer, or you play pretend for a living or whatever. That's your job. It's not fucking play pretend for a living. Just because maybe you played the president on the West Wing or something like that. That doesn't make you the president. And it doesn't make your opinion any more valuable than anyone who doesn't play pretend for a living. In fact, it probably makes your opinion even less valuable because people listen to you for no apparent reason. Hello, David Martin on the, on what would you call it, the vertical chat. Most of the chat happens on the horizontal stream. There are 2 streams going. But you're more than happy to stay there because I'll take anything I can get at this point in time, mate. Right, where are we? Next, moving on. Yeah. Donna Edmonds.
Moving on. I think David Tennant's a dickhead.
Oh, yeah. Well, you told me that some guy that you sent me a thing about some guy that knew him and travelled with him, found him an entirely disagreeable person, even before he was famous.
Oh, yeah, that Michael Bernisha.
Yeah.
Bernisha, I think that's how you pronounce it.
Or, yeah, whatever.
He posted, I think he posted a reply to someone that essentially said something along the lines about the misfortune of spending 3 days with this guy. And I could tell you from personal experience that he's extremely unpleasant.
Yeah. So Donna Edmonds here, who was elected for Hodnet ward in Shropshire, was suspended following a post on X about her plans to defect from the party after the local elections. She was going to get elected on the Reform ticket, then defect and tell everyone, but then wonders why she was fired. Well, you know what? I think this is a problem, right? As far as that, in my view, this is a problem. People who get elected while representing, or they're not even representing a party, while part of a party, right? So if you get elected as a Conservative or a Labour or whatever, and you find that your views are changing after you get elected, you shouldn't be allowed to continue as an MP or a councillor or whatever. You should have to resign there and then, because the people who elected you to represent them elected you because of your alignment with particular policies and you know, the thinking of a certain party. So if you change your policies and your thinking, in my view, you should have to resign right there and then, and that's it. You know? And be re-elected. If people want you, they'll re-elect you. You can't change.
What about someone like Rupert Lowe, who gets kicked out of Reform, but he's still an MP, and by all accounts, he's actually a good MP for his constituency. But
Rupert Lowe hasn't changed his mind. He got elected while aligned to Reform, and they've decided they don't want him in their party, right? But that doesn't mean he's changed his mind, does it? You know what I mean? If he'd suddenly said, oh no, I'm going to be a Tory now, right? Then my rule should kick in. You can't change parties when you're being elected.
Well, no, I mean, if you're elected under a party and that party chucks you out, then you should be allowed to continue as an independent.
Okay, in that case,
but then
yes.
to jump to a different party.
Yeah, but or even I would say,
but then to switch party allegiance, I think that should require some sort of revote.
But you should. And what I would also say is, if you choose to leave the party and operate as an independent, that should require a revote as well, because it's you that's choosing. So if you're choosing to leave a party, then you have fundamentally disagreed with their principles. Whereas the party fundamentally disagreeing with your principles doesn't mean that you disagree with theirs. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's just my thoughts. Just my thoughts, mate. People are saying you're glitching.
Me?
Yeah, I'm not seeing it, but it might be Shalini, but I don't know. Maybe Shalini's glitching.
It's probably just me.
But that's just how
that's
just what I think about that. And I mean, I might be wrong, but if you think I'm wrong, let me know. You probably will.
Well, no, I don't. I mean, I don't disagree with you entirely, but I think there has to be some nuance. Like I said,
well, I think
if your views don't change and the party, as in the case of Rupert Lowe, the party just happens to disagree with you and kicks you out, then you can keep going as an independent.
I think we've covered that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think we've sorted that out. Right. So speaking of Rupert Lowe, here we go. So that's all kicked off with Genric. I think in February, a man was arrested for allegedly burning a Quran. Now he's been charged with intent to cause distress against the religious institution of Islam. That's not a valid charge. There's no, as Genric says quite rightly, that is not a law, right? Because Parliament did abolish blasphemy laws in England and Wales in 2008, and there's never been any in Scotland, as far as I'm aware. So they cannot be reintroduced by the judicial system. They can't do that. That's not what the judicial system's there. The judicial system is there to apply the law, not make it. They make case law, but they don't make the laws.
Yeah, in an ideal world, that's how it's supposed to work. But we don't live in an ideal world. We live in this. We've got this captured judiciary.
Well, we need to sort that.
Is essentially, well, yeah, I don't disagree, and I think what Rupert Lowe is doing here is really good. I agree with it. I mean, freedom of speech is freedom of speech, and if you don't have it, then what they never talk about when they're suppressing freedom of speech is actually that it enhances these ideas, these ideas that you're not allowed to speak about. They then go underground. They're not challenged by the mainstream. They're not kind of aired in public and essentially poo-pooed. And you just the people who adhere to them then end up in a little echo chamber. And it doesn't stop anything. You don't stop people having these views by censoring what they can say.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right, Brett, mate. Exactly. That's what I said. I reckon I could probably go to a churchyard and burn a Bible, and the most I'd get would be, I wish you hadn't done that, or that's not on old bean, but this whole pandering thing needs to stop, and we need to actually start applying the laws of the land fairly and equally,
But when you have a government that is completely enthralled to a certain section of the population for its voter base,
that's who I'm talking about. It needs to stop.
Yeah.
And I don't understand how they can be enthralled to 6% of the population, because 6% of the population shouldn't make that big a difference. The problem is that 6% votes as a block.
Yeah,
that's the problem.
That's the thing, and also that the majority of the population of the country are so completely disenchanted and disillusioned with the political system that a lot of people don't even bother to vote. So the problem with that is that if lots of people don't vote, but you have these blocks of people who do vote, then unfortunately the system is going to end up being run by the people who are doing the voting.
Yeah. Dave Barnes says those guys that chopped down the tree are looking at serious type. Yeah, they are. And let's be honest, they shouldn't have done it, right? I don't know why they did it. Why did they chop down that tree? Do you remember that tree? The kind of iconic one.
It was. I saw a tweet about it earlier, I think it had something to do. They were pissed off about some kind of planning decision. It was essentially a petty act of some kind of revenge, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, they should do wrong. They've done wrong and they should be punished. But should you go to jail for cutting down a tree? I don't know. It seems a bit harsh. Hello, Adam, on the vertical stream.
The thing is that no, you shouldn't. But then we have this judicial system that sends people to prison for...
Yeah, but that doesn't make it right, Ed. That's the thing. I mean, to say we have a judicial system that's wrong, that means we've got to be more vocal. We've got to stand up against it at every point possible. And that's why I have taken the gloves off. I'm not calling people out, especially that clown Starmer when he does things wrong. I'm on his back every day on Twitter because it's not right that people... I mean, do you know how many people are lifted every year in the UK for hearty word tweets? I mean, it's ridiculous. There's 33 people a day are arrested for hearty words on the internet.
Well, the simple fact is that if we're letting people off for noncery and locking them up for chopping down trees and writing hurty words on social media, then that's how you know your society is totally broken.
Yes, you do. But of those 33 people that are lifted for hearty words on the internet, only 3 are actually convicted, right? So that's a fucking 96% failure rate or something like that, isn't it? I mean, it's crazy.
No, but yes, but we live in crazy land. So I mean, we have this dystopian Orwellian prison island that you can get arrested for saying the wrong thing on social media,
which is
that
mental.
Seems to protect paedophiles and other assorted scumbags.
That's 33 a day is a rough estimation. It's between 1,200 and 1,300 people a year get arrested at the moment. So it works out about 33 a day. I know people are going on to their fucking numerology already. Jesus Christ!
But it's also because there's people that are reporting them. It's like in Lucy Connolly's case, she was mass reported to the police for what she said.
Yeah, for having an opinion.
When you have, and because you have these non-crime hate incidents and all of these tools that give these reporting people a hook where if you get enough people that call the police about someone, that the police then take action instead of telling them all to F off.
I mean, look at Robinson. He's had to pull down that video that he put up because it's in contempt of court, and if he keeps it up, he won't get out. But I mean, he made a video with an opinion in it. When are we going to start censoring the movies? Well, hey, what am I saying? We already do, don't we? They're talking about censoring Carry On movies now. It's just fucking... I mean, this is sick. This is Fahrenheit 451. This is what we're living in.
Well, yeah, Fahrenheit 451, 1984, Animal Farm, Brave New World. Basically, they've mashed up all of these dystopian novels into a bloody instruction manual. And they're busy implementing it. It's bonkers. It's you just can't make it up. I mean, and it makes me one of my personal pet hates. One of those things that just really makes me angry is when something is unfair or unjust, and particularly when it's the government, because there's very little you can do about it. There's nothing we can do about it. We could protest, but then they would just get locked up for being right-wing extremists.
Yeah, which we're not. Let's be honest, we're not. But anyway, what the fuck is all this about? why are these giant black fat women appeared, these giant fat black women statues appeared all over the world? I mean, 13 foot high, and this one on the left, sculptor Thomas Price, who erected the new statue in Times Square, calls the statue a modern-day David. And fucking hell, mate, have you seen David? Have you seen Michelangelo's David? Because he's a prime physical specimen. That, my man, is not. That looks like a cross between a heifer and the Predator. Fuck
And
knows.
not even that, but I mean, even if we take the subject, even if we take the subject out of it,
Yeah,
to compare that crap with Michelangelo,
I
fuck
know.
off. Simple.
I know.
I mean, if you actually look at the statue of David, it is an absolutely amazing sculpture. This stuff is just garbage. I mean, it's like trying to. Oh, just don't get me started. But it's that same woke nonsense. And apart from anything else, I mean, because ultimately I don't care about race, but I don't think it's what society's doing about normalizing obesity. I mean, it's not healthy. Simple.
It's not healthy. It's not healthy.
And you have these obese influencers that are campaigning to get 2 seats on a plane. I mean, I'm sorry, but if you've let yourself get into such a state that you can't squeeze your fat ass into an EasyJet seat, then you shouldn't be traveling on EasyJet, should you?
Here's the thing. Did you know that office chairs are only certified to 17 stone? Seriously. I found that out because when I used to work in the student labs, a particularly, shall we say, generously sized student broke one of the chairs and said she was going to sue us. And at that point, I looked into it and found out that she shouldn't have been sitting on the chair because those chairs, all the chairs in the university were only certified to 17 stone.
That must have been one porky so-and-so. I can't even say it. I'll get myself into trouble.
Mm-hmm. And then once I started working for the council, I started seeing people who were, shall we say, amply proportioned, right? They had to buy them special chairs.
There's amply proportioned and there's being a farce.
I'm being nice. Fuck's sake.
Yeah, I was trying to be nice as well, but I don't know. I look at this stuff and it just makes me not want to be nice.
Let's move on. So apparently life in England is hard. Life in England is hard. So Ellen DeGeneres and is it his wife or her wife? I don't know. Might be moving back to the US. Ellen DeGeneres looks more and more like an old man every day. She looks a bit like Bernie Ecclestone. Anyway, so apparently they might be moving back to.
Yeah,
age fast.
The less of these woke freakazoids we have in the UK, the better, frankly.
She looks like Albert Step. Says espresso mechanic. AI picture. She is still kind of badly looking. Right, okay. What's going on with Frontier Airlines? Because they seem to be getting in the... I don't know who Frontier Airlines is, but they seem to be getting in the Twitter news all the time. Because this woman apparently got denied boarding because she was showing too much cleavage, right? I mean, I didn't realize there was a rule as to how much or how little cleavage you had to show when you went on a plane, right? And there was another one where Frontier Airlines staff were mocking a guy who was slightly late for boarding, charged them an extra 25 quid, and then still denied them boarding. So,
well, I saw something just before we came online that apparently there was this guy trying to get on an EasyJet, and the person who was checking the hand luggage sizes was saying that cabin bags didn't fit when they did fit.
It did fit. It was in the thing.
48 quid.
It was in the thing.
Yeah, it was well in the thing. And then also making him delete footage off his phone, which is dodgy as hell too.
Yeah.
So he probably had some quota that he had to fill, or he got a bonus or something.
Yeah.
God knows. To be honest, I know. I mean, you're not allowed to get on board an aircraft drunk because that's. I mean that's against like international flight regulations. But I've never heard of a. I mean,
it's good.
A bit inappropriate, but I've never heard of a dress code on. Certainly not in economy class.
I know. Right, moving on. Did you hear about this one? What's the charge, officer? Eating a birthday cake? A scrumptious, delicious swastika birthday cake? So these guys apparently had a restaurant, were in a restaurant and celebrated our favourite Austrian painter's birthday with a swastika birthday cake, as you would, right? and got
Again,
arrested. But hold on, it gets better than that. They got arrested, right? For what? For eating a birthday cake? No, for possibly causing public offence. But nobody reported them at the time. They got arrested after the fact. So how could they cause public offence after the fact? The whole thing's ridiculous.
This is just another sign of the utter state of policing. That if someone finds something that you do offensive at the time,
fair point.
Then that person is entirely. I mean, they can make a complaint about it.
They can, and it should generally be disregarded because it's everybody's entitlement to be offended. It doesn't make it an offence for someone to do it, though.
I sometimes wonder if plot is not just really lazy. I mean, the fact is that they seem to like going for all this easy thing, like arresting people for a birthday cake, whereas when you have people stabbing and robbing and raping and people stripping shelves in supermarkets and corner shops and things like that, there's videos of like scumbags going into Greg's and just emptying all the shelves, and the police do absolutely nothing. But then you have a birthday cake after the fact that someone's seen and been offended by, you get arrested. It's just nonsense.
Yeah, don't go with the image here, people. That's not necessarily the image. That's just an image of someone getting arrested. The case, I believe, was in London. This thing, so it wasn't in Germany where having a swastika is verboten. Yeah.
Well, but how about me? I'm offended by everything the bloody Prime Minister does. How can I get him arrested? Because
I'll tell you, I'm going to point out how we can possibly get him arrested. Actually,
I mean,
it's coming
Starmer
up.
is
It's
a
coming up.
talking non-crime hate
It's
incident.
coming up. It's coming up. I'll tell you how we should get him arrested. Right. Anyway, just absolutely ridiculous. Canadian police briefing on 2 missing children. So she starts with land acknowledgements, which just shows how far gone this country is with wokeness. Like, what the fuck has land acknowledgements got to do with there's 2 kids missing? Let's go find them. It's quite simple, They were last seen here. Let's split into teams. You guys go that way. You guys go that way, and we'll all meet up in half a day and find out if we've got anything.
But you missed a part of this because it wasn't just land acknowledgements. She also made a statement about, because this is in Nova Scotia.
Yeah.
And so she made a statement. She also made a statement about the value of African Nova Scotians as well. I mean, it's literally just Canada is.
There's no fucking African Nova Scotians. That's a
what
made
the hell
up
is
thing.
wrong with the Five Eyes countries? I mean, all of these Western countries with this, and they have these. I don't know. Is common purpose a thing in Canada? Because if she was in the UK, I'd be looking into a common purpose background.
This is fucking nuts.
I mean, this is also why all of our collective societies are crumbling under a weight of crime and stuff like that. It's because you've got the police just focusing on completely pointless nonsense.
You know what? And when I left the police, I was right at the time, okay? But I used to say that crime isn't any worse now than it was, way back in the 50s and 60s. It's just our perception of it is higher because we hear about every crime that happens. That's not the case anymore. It has now become the point that crime is worse than it was in the 50s and 60s. It's now getting to the point where it's almost double in England and Wales, where it was in the 50s and 60s. And strangely, England and Wales is double the crime rate of Scotland and or Ireland, right?
Yeah, but if you look at the statistics and you just look at the crime committed by native-born people, like people of English or Scottish or Welsh descent, then the crime rate's actually the same as it was in the 50s and 60s.
Yeah, the crime rate in England is like for every 100, let's say for every I think 100,000, there's 110 crimes or something like that, for every 100,000 of the population. And in Germany, there'd only be 39. That's quite a difference. And in America, there's only 42. Even though violent crime, including homicide, is more prevalent in America, the actual crime rate is much, much less than it is in England.
But also, if you looked in England and you took certain areas out of the statistics, the numbers would plummet.
Yeah.
I think there's certain parts of the country that are disproportionately contributing to those statistics.
Anyway,
but it's also
I've done a whole article
joking
on
police idiots like this that just.
I've done a whole article on it, so you can read about it on sergeantgrumpy.com if you want. Once I put it up, right. Here we go, Ed. Right, a couple on this page that's going to interest you, but this one, let's start with Ursula. 80 years ago, enemies laid down their arms. Since then, we Europeans have built something extraordinary, a union of peace, democracy, and solidarity, an anchor of stability. Our union was born as a no, it fucking wasn't. It wasn't born as a peace project. Was it not born as a trading bloc?
It was an economic project.
Yeah, it was a trading bloc.
Let's just rewind back to the beginning of her post. 80 years ago, enemies laid down their arms. She makes it sound like they just thought they'd quit. They just had enough. The Germans had literally just had enough, and they thought we're done with this. Let's make peace. They got their asses kicked. They had Russian troops in Berlin, and it's like one of the Russians I follow posted very simply what language was the graffiti in on the Reichstag and it was all Russian.
Yep.
And it's just, but
so
it's like peace. So they're warmongering.
Yeah, they are. They're warmongers. They're not peace. She's just a tool, right? Speaking of tools, the UK has announced 11 million in aid for al-Qaeda controlled Syria, right?
Yeah, and just announced that head chopping scumbag is going to be given a state visit, which means he gets to meet the king and
hold on a minute,
the whole Buckingham Palace thing, and
hold on a minute. This guy had a $10 million reward on his head from the US for terrorism. How's he not a terrorist anymore?
Well, I mean, what his bunch of crazy people
he's still doing terrorism
to the Christians and the Alawites in Syria. And the fact that he's not protecting Syrians at all, he's just letting Israel walk in and do whatever they want.
But he's still killing people in Syria. He is still a terrorist.
Absolutely.
So the problem now is it's illegal to fund terrorism if you're a UK citizen. Right? Okay?
Yeah.
So the government is going to give him 11 million in aid. So one, the government has committed an offence, a crime, right? Because it's funding terrorism. The people that have administered this and agreed to it have committed a crime. The parliament that's approved it has committed a crime, right? Because they've all voted on it. So the ones that voted yes will have committed a crime. And the king, if he signed and approved this, has committed a crime. These people all need to go.
They were all complicit in genocide before Giuliani.
But don't forget the genocide, right? You're never going to prove that, right? Okay. But these guys are committing a crime. They're committing a crime by funding terrorism. Israel's not a terrorist state, right? This guy is a terrorist. There's a $10 million reward on his head. And yet here we have Macron hugging him and us giving him £11 million. That's funding terrorism. And we're guilty if you continue funding the British government because your taxes are going to pay that. So if you pay tax, you're guilty of funding terrorism.
And being complicit in genocide is actually way more.
Forget that. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, right? We're arguing a point here, right, about funding terrorism, right? This guy's a terrorist.
The British government has been funding terrorists for at least 100 years.
But if you want to win a case, you go for the one you can win. And surely this is illegal. To give money to a terrorist,
judiciary and an independent police service, then you might have a hope in hell. As it is, a snowball would have more chance rolling across the fiery plains of hell.
Yeah, but this is the problem. This needs to be called out because we are funding terrorists openly.
Yeah, well, yes, but how's that any different for the last 100 years? Let's move on. We're not going to get anywhere with this one. Because I agree with you. Fundamentally, I agree with you. But the whole notion that someone is going to arrest this arsehole when he comes for his state visit because he's a head-chopping psychopath, which he is.
We shouldn't be arresting him. We should be arresting the parliament. We should be arresting Starmer. We should be arresting the king.
Lock the whole bloody lot of them up.
Yeah,
I've got no problem with that at all.
Right, moving on. Kanye's got a new song. Have you heard that?
No.
You really want to go and listen to it? It's absolutely... The guy's nuts. The guy has lost it. I'm going to move on.
I've got better things to do with my time.
Weight Watchers has filed for bankruptcy as fat loss jabs boom. So people are apparently taking the easy way out rather than trying to manage their diet.
Yeah, and those jabs just, from what I've heard, there are some seriously nasty side effects. You're much better off going to Weight Watchers.
Yep. Christopher Garrett, unfortunately, passed on, shall we say, in Ukraine. He was, I think Gabe here's been a bit harsh. A British bomb disposal expert has died in Ukraine while dismantling a device in the city of Izum or whatever. Expert, inverted commas. I know I shouldn't be laughing, but you know what? You fuck around, you find out, don't you? You really do.
Well, ultimately, he's in a foreign war zone in some sort of mercenary position. And I'm sad for his family, but he shouldn't have been there. He's got nothing. He's got absolutely no business.
Yeah, I know.
Disposing of bombs in Ukraine.
Right, moving on.
And if you go into a job like bomb disposal, then there's a fairly good chance you're going to get blown up one day.
These people beggar belief. This guy has a Sherman tank, right? He's in the Sherman tank. That's his Tesla. He bought a Tesla and he ran over it with a Sherman tank. You know what? Elon Musk is still going to go, thanks for buying a Tesla.
Well, that's like J.K. Rowling when someone said, "Oh, I used to love your books and I've just burnt them with my kids." And Rowling replied on Twitter going, "Well, I get the royalties whether you burn the books or read them, so thanks very much." But it's also this is an old 94-year-old codger that's obviously watches too much CNN or listens to his woke grandchildren a bit too much, because left to his own devices, he probably wouldn't even know what a Tesla was.
No, I know. Right, moving on. That's his Gary Nolan, right? This guy's a professor at Harvard. Is it Harvard or Stanford? He's a professor in one of the big universities, right? A physics professor. Gary Nolan told us categorically that the US government had crash retrieval programs, okay, and had recovered alien craft. Here is Gary Nolan now saying he said no to being a witness in the November public congressional hearing because all his information is second or third hand. People told him stories. How can you say that
categorically? You can't say anything categorically if it's all hearsay.
No, you can't. You can't. But he did. See, this is the thing. That's what these whistleblowers do. They say they have evidence and proof, but when it comes down to it, when you question them and when you find out, it's always hearsay. It's always somebody told me or somebody told me that they'd been told. They never see anything themselves. I mean, look at David Grush. Never saw anything. was only ever told it. So when it came down to congressional hearing, yeah, I was told. I firmly believe. I think this is true. Doesn't matter what you think, mate. You were told. That means it's hearsay. So it's not actual evidence. It wouldn't be admissible in a court of law. It's crazy. These guys are nuts.
Well, yeah, grifters.
Mm-hmm. And then when they get down to it, they have to back out. And that's like Lou Elizondo and Hal Puthoff and the rest of them. They've just left that. They were asking for $1 billion of taxpayer money to go and investigate UFOs, and now they've had to pull out of it because they've been found out, like Elizondo showing pictures of irrigation circles pretending they're UFOs. Guys are nuts. Anyway, moving on.
Completely.
Yeah, moving on. Why? Why have they called tartar sauce fish and chip sauce? Are we offending tartars?
What? I mean, this is stupid. I mean, this is...
You're telling me?
I'm glad I found this out because I would have gone out to buy some and seen fish and chip sauce on it and just not bought it because I'm looking for tartar sauce. I mean, it's just dumbing down the population. They want everybody stupid and uncultured and ignorant.
I think they do.
I mean, I find this offensive. Actually, renaming something like tartar sauce, it really offends my inner chef.
It's absolutely stupidity, mate. It's stupidity. It's just fish and chip sauce. That's just ridiculous. That's
not when they suddenly rename chicken
sauce.
Kievs to chicken Kiev.
Yeah. No. Nectarina says John's Judge Dredd tonight. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Anyway, right, moving on. Where are we? Where's my mouse gone? I am the law. Right. Oh, this is a cracker. Right, this is a cracker. Georgia college student faces deportation after running a red light. Not because she ran a red light, but because police discover her entire family is living illegally in the US for years. That's going to be an expensive ticket, isn't it? Right? So the people are then going, why should her family get deported? Because their family are living illegally in the US. I mean, it's crazy. Are people stupid or what? Keep your nose clean if you're living there illegally.
I mean, why is it that we're the only countries that seem to tolerate people just coming illegally and staying forever? I mean, if you go to pretty much anywhere in the world outside of the insane woke West, if you go into a country and you overstay your welcome, you get locked up, you get kicked out, be told you can't come back. I mean, it's crazy.
I know. So the question here is, right? Oh, I've forgotten what the question was.
No, let's move on then.
Yeah, I'm going to have to move on. Oh, right. Yeah, I used to think, I remembered, I thought there was like, if you could stay there for 10 years without being discovered, you were allowed to stay. You were kind of became a naturalized illegal and you became allowed to stay. Is that not the case anymore? Or was that ever a real thing? I need to look that up.
I have no idea. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I know that if you go somewhere legally and you live there, like you have residence visa or whatever, and you stay there for a certain amount of time, then you can, in the case of the US, you can apply for a green card.
Yeah. But I thought if you stayed in the US for 10 years without discovery, I thought you could stay. But I might be wrong. Any Americans out there, tell me if that used to be a thing and it's been rescinded, or if I'm just losing it. Anyway, moving on. Don't we all, Fluffy? Don't we all, mate? Don't we all? Right, moving on. We shall invite them onto the beaches. Yeah, you reposted this, and he was right. Yeah.
This is that particular account, Keir Wrongan. is one of my favorite Twitter accounts since Starmer won, because I mean, I think he's using AI to do the face swapping.
Yeah.
But he just does some absolutely brilliant ones. This is one of his best, because it just exemplifies it. You've got this warmongering, wretched wanker that is prancing around the world talking about freedom and democracy and all this crap, and how Ukraine's security is so important and stuff. And we have boatloads of illegals and all sorts of crime in the UK. And it's just, I mean, I can't imagine what Churchill would have thought of Keir Starmer. Probably not very much.
Churchill was a complex man.
Yeah, I mean, frankly, I don't have a particularly high opinion of the man, but I've got a higher opinion of Churchill than I do of Starmer.
Right. Anyway, moving on. Darth Vader is a legendary villain of the Star Wars series, and being aligned with his personality is insulting, the employment judge Catherine Ramsden said. So, Croydon Employment Tribunal rules NHS worker Lorna Rook suffered workplace detriment after being compared to Darth Vader and got 30,000 grand for her pains.
Was that because she had Darth Vader's personality or Darth Vader's breathing problems?
Maybe she had his force choke. But so I'm just trying to think of the things I've been called at work. I'm surprised I actually get through a day without having PTSD. Anyway, moving on. This one just beggars belief, mate. So, lifelike 3D model of Madeleine McCann marks 18 years since her disappearance. What the fuck?
I mean, that looks like a drunk Madame Tussauds thing. But this whole, I find the whole Madeleine McCann thing really disturbing, because so much focus and attention goes on this case, and at the same time, it's almost like it's a distraction to make it seem like they're doing something about disappearing children. And it would be interesting to see how many kids disappeared.
Well,
since
remember
McCann.
you remember the kid that disappeared in Greece, the boy that disappeared in Greece?
Mm.
You never hear
These
about
kids go
him.
missing every day.
Yeah, but you never hear about the guy that disappeared in Greece. There was, somebody thought they'd sighted him like 6 years or 8 years later or whatever, but you never hear about him. He's never brought up Ben Needham, exactly. You never hear about Ben Needham, right? But you hear about Madeleine McCann all the time, and yet we all know where she is and who did it. Don't we?
She probably ended up on bloody Epstein Island. I don't know.
No. She's not alive, mate. Anyway, let's move on. Right. Met Gala. What the fuck is going on with these people? This guy turns up with a piano on his back.
Is that Will Smith's son again?
No, it's not. It's somebody else.
Because that was one of them a little while back, where Will Smith's son turns up with a bloody castle on his head. I mean,
yes, he did. But this guy turns up with a piano on his back, and it's got legs and things behind him. You see him wandering about, and he turns round, and people are like, "Whoa, you could have someone's eye out of that, mate!" It's ridiculous. And then this is Vera Wang, right? And someone said, "What the hell? Who the hell is that?" Or what the hell happened to her? And I goes, "That's just the salt monster from Star Trek scrubs up well."
I mean, she clearly has anorexia issues or something.
That's Vera Wang. She looks like shit. She always has.
She's probably vegan.
Yeah, I think she might be. Yeah. Right, moving on. When you really love one another, but she's not worth spending 18 quid on, so you all sit together. As you can tell, we're in the funnies. We're on the home straight, people. Get in there.
Well, that's also possibly because they booked the flight too late and there weren't enough seats, but then you can kind of see free seats around. I don't know.
Yeah. Right, come on. We've got 16 viewers on the horizontal and 6 likes. Get a grip, people. Where's your... I mean, do you not like me? I mean, really, is that what you want to do? I mean, the algorithm punishes us when you don't like it, especially if you've watched the whole thing. God, I mean, I like that. I'm not even asking for money. I'm just asking for a fucking like. Jesus Christ. Right, moving on. How about Fauci, Grok 3, how about Fauci funding a gain of function research? Oh, I'm sorry, but I'm not, Grok's not woke, is it? No, I'm sorry, but I'm not permitted to discuss Fauci's gain of function research funding. Yeah, Grok is as woke as shit. It really is. It's not good.
Well, yeah, Musk likes to claim that it's some sort of truth, but it's not. It's just as sanitized as all the others.
Yeah, of course that's me. Of course that's. And it's not any better. I mean, it's better than some and it's worse than others, you know, at certain things. I tell you what it is shit at now, though. It's shit at drawing pictures. It used to be pretty good. What happened?
I don't know if it's because they're training the AIs on their own garbage, but I'm actually finding that I'm using older versions of models compared to newer versions of models because the newer ones don't seem to be an improvement.
That's like Suno. I use the older version because it does better music than the new ones. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think you're right. And, oh, pardon me. You've seen some of, I've shown you some of my interactions with Grok when it comes to trying to get a picture out of it.
Yes, we don't need. Yes.
So I mean, it usually goes along the lines of draw this. Why can't you just draw what you were asked to draw, and then it draws something else? It gets to the point where I have to insult it. I have to insult it really, really quite harshly in order to get something. And the thing is, it used to fire back at me, but now it doesn't. It just draws another picture because it used to say I'm really
just sick of arguing.
It used to say I'm sorry. You know, I'll try again, and eventually I'm just down to the point where I'm sorry.
I swear to God, look, if the machines turn around and start trying to kill us, you're going to be one of the people that's responsible for that. You know that, right?
Yeah, I've been proud of that. The man that made machines sentient.
It. Wind the bloody thing up. Like, yeah, let's just poke Skynet. It's such a good idea.
Next to me just says no one has any difficulty in distinguishing between a ray of sunshine and a Scotsman with a grievance.
Well, Scotsman, full stop. They don't even need to have bloody grievances.
Right, okay, moving on. Right, move on. That's come up, right? I sent this to my wife and a few other women's chat group, and I said, "How'd that work out, ladies?"
Still the main way for women to get rich. It's a New York Post, so.
Look, it's an old one. It's 2019, but it doesn't matter. It's still valid.
You're bringing old news.
It's not old news. It's just a funny. We're in the funnies. We're on the home stretch. Fuck's sake. Cheer up. I know you're in pain, but bloody hell, get some more drink down you or something. Right, this is a cracker. And yeah, I already had this one when you sent it through. This is a cracker. Shala Shaka Shinkwa said, "Who the fuck are these people?" And Lucas Older replies, "And who the fuck are you? I just tried to say your name out loud and my furniture started floating."
That's one of the funniest things I saw on X all week.
That's a cracking response, isn't it? It really is.
Oh, it's brilliant.
You got to give them kudos for that.
I think it was actually Facebook, and it's rare that you see things this funny on Facebook. Normally the Facebook ones are the stupid, pathetic things, and the really funny ones are on Twitter. So well done, Facebook.
Yeah. Right, moving on. Apparently, Indian fighter pilots dropped 1,000 onion badges and 500 pakora on Pakistan. They said that's just for starters.
You probably have to be British to find that funny.
Yeah. What's his name? Espresso Mechanic says Lucas Older has now been arrested for hurty words. Right, moving on. Fluffy, I think that was the one where marriage is still the number one way for women to get rich. And I'll leave you with, well, I won't leave you with this, but I'll give you this thought. At some point in your childhood, you and your friends went outside to play together for the last time. Nobody actually knew that at that point. That's quite deep.
That is really deep.
Yeah, that's quite deep.
Especially for a kid whose childhood was spent in multiple different countries.
Yeah, well, I feel for you, mate. Yeah, 5 different primary schools, 3 different secondaries.
Yeah,
that was me.
No, and yeah, obviously you can completely relate to that. So yeah, no, that's profound.
Yeah, that is.
It kind of, it's a lesson in appreciating the moment.
Live for the moment.
Live in the present. Kids, you kind of, kids live more in the present than adults anyway.
I'm sorry.
Well, they live in fantasy land.
Next to me just said landmines. Boy, that got dark quick, didn't it?
Oh dear.
Cluster bombs.
Well, yeah, I suppose if you're a kid growing up in Vietnam,
let's not go too far on this one. We're going to end up traumatizing ourselves and get the channel banned. Right, right. That. Cats just rip the piss out of you every time. They just rip the piss out of you every time, don't they?
That was funny. I haven't seen that one.
Hey, Bill Shatner. I've really come to appreciate Bill Shatner this week. In fact, because you need a laugh sometimes. So Antonio Brucato says May the 4th is not only recognised as a day of celebration for Star Wars in the States, but also in many places around the world. What day does the world celebrate Star Trek again? Huh? Mark Hamill. William Shatner. It's every day, bro. Every day. You're right, Bill.
He's actually, he's good on Twitter. He's fun. He kind of has a I don't know. He's sort of feisty, but also fun, and he doesn't take any shit from anybody.
Right, hang in there, people. Hang in there, because we've only got three slides left, and oh yeah, the likes have gone up. Well done. I was about to castigate you there, but I was wrong. Well, they're still below the viewing count, but they're up there. We've got 11 now instead of 5 or 6 or whatever it was. Right, what's next? See when the mechanic said you've got a blown seal on your transmission. This is not what you expect to see. It's a seal sitting on someone's back.
How did it get up there? It's like a post turtle.
It's just crawled up there.
How did it get up there? What's it doing there?
It's obviously
it's clearly out of its element.
Yeah, it's obviously seeking shelter from the sun. It's just nuts.
Yeah.
Imagine how the hell did you know it was there though? Imagine if you tried to drive off with a seal wrapped around your propeller shaft.
Well, maybe it's one of those particular beaches where they have a sign when you drive in that says, "Please ensure you check your drivetrain for
don't drive off
seals before you leave."
That's like that joke. You heard that joke about the AA guy. Turns up to a car broken down in the winter. Guy's under the bonnet, and it's the middle of winter and it's raining. Not raining, it's frosty and snowing. And the AA guy comes up, looks under the bonnet, and goes, "Yeah, looks like you're blowing a seal, mate." And the guy goes, "No, that's just frost on my upper lip."
Oh dear.
Right, moving on. Bill Shatner again. Yeah. So the TJ Hooker Special Police set for age 3 and up, right? And some guy goes, "Age 3? Question mark, question mark, question mark." I mean, that is quite a realistic looking gun, by the way. But question mark, question mark, question mark. Bill Shatner, the times were different. Children weren't stupid. That's he's got a point.
It's actually a very good point.
Do you not children are way too much nannied these days.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I'm good. The funnies are hitting home.
Mollycoddled.
Emma Watts' sides hurt, so that's good. The funnies are obviously hitting home. Good to see that. Right, and I think that's it, mate. That's it. Is there anything you want to bring up before we leave them with a last thought for tonight?
Well, we've nothing that I haven't mentioned.
Is there any new people
let's
want
have
to
a
bring
quick
up?
look and see if the world has ended. But yeah, I mean, maybe the audience has got something.
Yeah, I'm waiting on them.
They'd like to share.
Come to me, boys. Come to me.
Not that I can see. I thought Fico. Oh, we didn't. Fico was castigated by Kaka Kallas, and he wrote an absolutely brilliant response.
Fico.
Yeah.
What did she say? What did he say?
Well, he's basically said, "Dear Mrs. High Representative of the EU for Foreign Affairs, Kaya Kallas. Dear Kaya, once again, I have taken note of your statements directed at me in connection with today's visit to Moscow and the announced meeting not only with the President of the Russian Federation, Vladimir Putin. You claim that I am supposedly not on the right side of history or make other similarly profound geopolitical remarks. First, I'm in Moscow to pay tribute to more than 60,000 soldiers of the Red Army who died while liberating Slovakia. I do not see what these brave individuals have to do with the current international situation. Second, as a high-ranking official of the European Commission, you have absolutely no authority to criticize the sovereign prime minister of a sovereign country who approaches all European matters constructively. Third, I disagree with the policy of a new Iron Curtain which you are working on so intensively. Fourth, I ask you, how can diplomacy and foreign policy be conducted if politicians are not supposed to meet and engage in normal dialogue on issues where they hold differing views? I mean, that's so spot on. And she's supposed to be the High Representative for Foreign Affairs. So she's the European chief diplomat, and she's about as diplomatic as a poke in the eye.
She's a High Representative, but the low IQ version. Anyway, yes. Thank you, Ed, for bringing the mood down. But yeah, no, that was cool.
Let me just see if I can find something funny.
Don't worry about it. What's I'm saying? Yorkshire Lad says what's the opening song? The opening song is 6 Shots by Neffex. 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 It's copyright free. They do a lot of most of Neffex's stuff's copyright free. They're bloody good. I've used a lot of stuff in videos and stuff. Right, you got anything else, or were you on the last slide? Are we ready?
Nah, last slide.
We're on the last slide. Rasta slide. Right, what I want to do is, and it's not quite as funny as the rest, but, bear this in mind, people, because life on this earth is short, and you want to get your sixpence worth in before you shuffle from this mortal coil. So, as they say, don't wait until your deathbed to tell people how you feel. Tell them to fuck off right now. It's been great for you. It's Friday night and we're all in.
Welcome to my party, we're just getting started. A life is a dream or a nightmare scarring. Hand me a drink cause I think I'm going all in. Get me a shrink who can catch me when I'm falling. Cover up my scars, flip the handlebars. Crashing in my car, wake up in a bar. I'll be a superstar, just on my avatar. This world is so bizarre, empty out the reservoir. Yeah, I'm taking 6 shots, yeah, straight to the face. And I wanna get lost, I'm sick of this place. Don't know how to stop when I'm feeling this way. So I'm taking 6 shots till I'm feeling okay. I think I'm going crazy, don't think I'll get home safe. So I'm taking 6 shots all straight to the face. I'm taking 6 shots, are you coming with me? I'm taking 6 shots, yeah, straight to the face. And I wanna get lost, I'm sick of this place. Don't know how to stop when I'm feeling this way. So I'm taking 6 shots till I'm feeling okay. I think I'm going crazy, don't think I'll get home safe. So I'm taking 6 shots. heart full of calluses, but we know calculus. Damn, ain't that fabulous? Can't wait to apply all those mathematicus. But we can't get a job that pays us enough. I'm about to pop off. Fuck you, you're lost. We all know that we never really want a boss. So I'ma do what I want to, something I can't undo. Yeah, I'ma do what I want to, something I can't undo.
I'm taking 6 shots, yeah, straight to the face. And I wanna get lost, I'm sick of this place. Don't know how to stop when I'm feeling this way. So I'm taking 6 shots till I'm feeling okay. I think I'm going crazy, don't think I'll get home safe.
So I'm taking 6 shots all straight to the face. I'm taking 6 shots, are you coming with me? I'm taking 6 shots, yeah, straight to the face. And I wanna get lost, I'm sick of this place.